It's time for us to proceed to our sermon this morning. We always say that there is really nothing we want to say to ourselves that we have not said or heard before. But it does us good to continue to tell ourselves these things. Our sermon topic this morning is that God is making a way. God is making a way. Right? We have a song that says God will make a way. Right? Our concern most of the time is that God will make a way. Well, we are graduating from that this morning, and what we are telling ourselves is that God is making a way. The way is there. It's being prepared. All we need to do is to assess it or access it. Our text will be taken from Isaiah chapter 43, verse 16, which we will read later. We say that life is a serious adventure. There's nothing in existence that is as serious as life. Apart from what happens in the realms that we do not know, but as far as we are concerned as human beings, life is a serious adventure filled with twists and turns, ups and downs, sometimes good, sometimes bad. But despite these situations, we find ways to get by, right? And we live through it all, right? God makes it possible for us. There are avenues, there are ways for us to surmount and go through these twists and turns and get through these ups and downs that we experience. The phrase or phrases, God will make a way, right? Or God will provide. You know, there are phrases of comfort when we find ourselves boxed in corners and we are confused. We say, how is it going to be? We say, well, don't worry, God will make a way. Right? No problem. God will provide. At times we say them without really laying emphasis in our hearts to what those words actually mean. The truth is that God really always does make a way. But if you take your time to think and dwell on these words, focus our hearts on them, you will agree with me that these terms or phrases represent powerful realities, right, that can transform our lives from the inside out. If you rely on and sincerely believe in the strength of those assurances, when you say God will make a way, or God is making a way, and you actually believe in it, your heart is dependent on it, they can be very strong. So if you are seated in this hall right now, right, and you are in doubt as to whether God really makes a way, right, take a moment to think of the fact that you have made this thus far this time of the year. Right? This is the time when we say, oh, we want to look at how the year has been and start to make projections for the next year. You know, and we are going to say, this did not work, that did not work. But the fact that you are sitting in this hall right now, right here, this very second, and you have surmounted and gone through all the challenges that came your way this year, it was not because we were very crafty, it was not because we were the best of all. The trips you took, the dangers you escaped. You have messages, somebody says, help me to thank God I was involved in a very ghastly motor accident. People have experienced smaller than what you saw, and they are not available. Right? You know your challenges, you know what God has done for you, and God will continue to do those things for us in Jesus' name. Amen. That is because there is a fortress, right, greater than yourself, working on your behalf, and that is God and His promises. Now, we're not talking about when we say God will make a way, God will make a way. We're not talking about sitting back and waiting for miracles to happen, right? That's not how it works. God makes a way, but we have to be willing to do what? To walk the path. IT, what's happening over there? God makes ways. God will make a way. God is making ways. But we need to be willing to take those paths, to walk the path. Now, you see, when we say God is making a way or will make a way, we are tapping into a wellspring of hope. Let us pay attention to that word hope. We will come back to it, right? Hope which is founded on our belief in His words and promises, and because God is God, right? His promises abide forever, and that is what we believe. Hence, our reliance on His word. When He says, "I will make a way, I will deliver you," because He is God, we believe in those words that come from Him. And that takes us to our text this morning, which is Isaiah chapter 43, verse 16.
Isaiah 43:16 reads, "Thus said the Lord, which maketh a way in the sea, and a path in the mighty waters." Very good.
Yes, read on.
Okay. Which bringeth forth the chariots and the horse, the army and the power, they shall lie down together, they shall not rise. They are extinct. They are quenched as dew.
All right. Now, when we talk about our emphasis is on the sea, making a way through the sea, and then making a way through the waters. In life, we know what our seas are. We know what our waters are. They are our challenges and they are our difficulties. There was a time in life of the Israelites when the was the Red Sea, and God did make a way for them to pass. That is what we are telling ourselves this morning. So we said we are going to come back to the word hope. Because certain words are very common and we use them often, we forget the strength behind those words and we forget their meanings. Now, hope isn't some flimsy passing feeling, right? But rather the bedrock of human resilience, which has the ability to keep us going when logic fails. Now, I can ask somebody, are you sure that is going to come to pass? Say, yeah, I'm hopeful. Jesus says, oh, well, yeah, they're hopeful, right? We say it most of the time, it's not paying attention to what that word, hope, actually means. But the existence of man is centered around hope. Why are we Christians? Right? Because Christ came, died for our sins. In the what? Hope that there is resurrection. Connected with our faith and our action, that is why we are here. Right? So hope is bigger than what we think. Hope comes to play when logic fails. Right? When we say logic is the usual expectation. When a woman is pregnant for 9 months, the logical conclusion is that she's going to give birth when the 9 months ends, right? Now, what about when a person dies, when Lazarus dies, and Christ comes after 4 days and says, roll up the stone? It doesn't work with logic. The man is wondering, what do you want to do? The man has died over 4 days. By now, he's what? Right? That's the logical conclusion. But hope says, remove the stone. This is Christ speaking. Right? What is the logical analysis between a relation between Goliath and David? A shepherd boy with a catapult, right? And a trained killer, who we are told is a giant. The logical result is that Goliath will what? Kill David. Right? So when logic fails, what we have is hope. And when we attach action and faith to that hope, it can be an unstoppable force. What does it really mean when God says make a way? It means that no matter how dark the night is, dawn will come. Have you ever slept and then not break? It means even when you can't see the path forward, you are assured that there is one. When God says move, God told Abraham, go, I will to a land that I will show you. No GPS, no map, no nothing. No directions, say number this. When you reach this point, he just said you should start going. Right? Because it is God that sets so. Abraham had faith and hope that he would get to a destination that God had planned for him. It means that you are never truly stuck. You are never truly alone, as Psalm 23 says. Right? His rod and his staff does what? It comforts us. The Lord is my what? My shepherd. Right? It means when we are, sorry, it means that we are never without options. So we continue to hang in there. We do not give up, for God is thinking about you and will guide you towards that path. Will make that way obvious to you. Now, I can almost hear someone saying, thinking, but you do not know my situation. You do not know how long I've been waiting for this path to be made. You do not know how tough things have been for me, which is why I've decided to give up. You do not know what I've been through. You're right. I do not know. Right? But if God says He will make a way, then the option that we have should be to trust in the fact that God says He will make a way. Unfortunately, we do not have any other option. The options that you choose to assess are disastrous. At the end of the day, you come back to this same God. He's the only one that can help us. Faith isn't about having all the answers, right? But about trusting that there are answers, and in due course, God will help us find them. It's somewhat like walking a flight of stairs, right? If you go to a building, it's 10, 6, 5-story building. When you take your step and you're climbing upstairs, right? You do not see the rest of the step. The highest number you can see is 10. But what do? You continue, believing that since they say this is a 10-story building, there are steps that will carry me there. That is how it works with God. When He says you take that leap of faith and you proceed, believing that because it's God, there's a path that leads to what? Your destination. Right? But there is a challenge, and we need to pay attention to this. Unfortunately, right, sometimes a major part of our challenging limitations is within us. They are our fears, our doubts that hold us back. Right? We are a sum total of what our mind holds and comprehends. The antidote to fear, right, is what? Is faith. And where do these two concepts lie? When you say fear, faith, it is not out there, it is in us. So when I say I'm afraid, where is it coming from? It's emanating from me. Right? When I say I have faith, where is it coming from? Also from within me. Now the question is, what are your dominant thoughts? What are those thoughts that dominate your mind? Where do you dwell in your mind? Where are you? Sitting down here now in this hall, where is your mind? Right? Is it in the goods you want to sell tomorrow? Or is your mind on what we are talking about now? What are your dominant thoughts? Right? Are they thoughts of fear, doubt, unbelief, limitations? Or are they thoughts filled with trust in God or filled with the I can't syndrome? Right? I can do it. Or are they thoughts like David had when he confronted Goliath with the sling and the stone? Or are they thoughts like Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego had and told the king Nebuchadnezzar and said, even if you kill us, even if our God does not save us, we will enter that fire. And at the end of the day, what he did, that he looked at the fire and said, did we not put in 3 people? We saw there's a 4th person there that looks like the Son of God. Is that the kind of mind we have? Or are we afraid? What is our attitude towards our circumstance and life in general? Is our attitude of positive? Is it cheerful? Is it that of determination, gratitude, or resilience? Our dominant thoughts become us. In other words, we become what we think about. Your mind is the most powerful tool that you possess. It can turn you into anything. It shapes your reality, right? It can mold your future, right? In the sense that whatever occupies your thoughts most of the times is what you actively become. Proverbs chapter 23 verse 7 says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Gradually you start to be that thing that you are always focusing your thoughts on. Right? So whether you realize it or not, whether you agree or not, you are a sum total of your thoughts most of the time. Right? We are fruits of our own thoughts. Luke 6:45 says, out of the abundance of the heart, a man speaketh. At times we talk and you can tell what this person is all about, right? Our mindset is key. A certain question for us is, what thoughts do we hold in our minds? What are the ideas we entertain? What are the beliefs we accept? All of these shape us, guide us, and ultimately influence our beliefs.